So I invite you to close your eyes as I do the reading. Elegant choices is a life discipline, a way of staying mindful to what we are, to what we need and what we want, and to what we're actually doing. The elegant choice expresses the being values, those universal held sacred values we could call the good, for short. For most, making choices that embody such values takes a degree of effort and will. In other words, our choices change us in the direction of the quality and nature of the choice. There is no way out. For good or bad, we are defined and molded by our choices. Since only the good is whole enough to be the one thing in all expressions, by choosing elegant, i.e. the good, we become that thing, the good, through our choice, touches, enters, develops, and transforms us. So what I'd like you to do as you go into the meditation is to contemplate what choices are you making that are good? What are the good choices? And so as we come together this morning, I know that the divine is right here, right now. That Spirit is in this sanctuary, the sanctuary of love, of growth, of beingness, and that each one of us are connected to that infinite presence that we call God. And so I bless today, I bless our music, Mr. James Higgins today, who brings his soul, his heart to our music, for Sophia and her assistants, for the technology that brings those that can't be here today, brings us into our own sanctuary, that sanctuary of love and appreciation, and brings us continually closer to each other. To everyone that is here, those that will hear this message later, to know that the one divine essence is in this room, and we are blessed because of it. So I claim this day as being good, as the elegant choice for the day. Join me in saying, and so it is. And so let's welcome Mr. Higgins. Yes.
When God is all there is, you'll find peace within your heart. When God is all there is, you'll find peace within your heart. Surrender all of your doubt and your fears. Just let your mind be still. Fill your heart with grace and God's tender warm embrace. That's my prayer today, and so it is. When God is all there is, you'll find joy within your heart. When God is all that there is, you'll find joy within your heart. Surrender all of your doubt and your fears. Just let your mind be still. Fill your heart with grace and God's tender warm embrace. That's my prayer today, and so it is. When God is all that there is, you'll find love within your heart. Oh, when God is all that there is, you'll find love within your heart. Oh, surrender all joy and love and peace within your heart. When God is all, is all, is all there is. When God is all, is all, is all, is all there is. When God is all there is. When God is all there is. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. So this is off your new album? It is, and we have it here today, or it's tell them.
Yeah, that'll be on the new album called When God Is All There Is. We do have some albums here today, but that's from the new project, When God Is All There Is.
He's doing this for the next year, so isn't this a great? Oh God. We make it really easy for you to get on and off stage here. All right. So this is Practitioner Sunday, and I love Practitioner Sunday. You all know that, because I believe our practitioners are very wise and have many, many things to say to us that, they say it in a different way. And I think that's really important for all of us to be able to hear the word, whatever that word is, in different ways. So today we have Sophia and Candace, and we have a large crowd online today. So welcome, everybody. Glad you're here. And we're going to invite Sophia to come up. She's got some wonderful things to say. Let's welcome her up.
Good morning. And God is all there is. Thank you. Do you guys consider yourself geniuses? Yes. Do you think you're a genius? Yes, you are. You claim it and you own it. You are a genius. If you can spell us, U-S. Nobody gets that. Okay. So the topic is genius, the genius of and. I think and is inclusive. It talks about being inclusive. It's inclusivity and also opens you up to possibilities. That's not what I want to talk about. Candace will talk about that. I love Jose Silver's definition of a genius. He says a genius is a person who uses his mind and uses his mind in a certain way. And science of mind is all about, using your mind and changing your thoughts. I mean, that's basically it, because the central theme of science of mind is our thoughts are creative. And if we're able to use our thoughts constructively, we can create wonderful things, right? And that's, evidence of that is all around us. Evidence of the things that we see, the cars we drive, the airplanes, everything is evidence of man using his thought to create. Right? And so the genius of it all is that we all are geniuses because we use our minds every day to create. And the first quotation that I came up with, I will talk about the thoughts I had when I first thought about this topic, is we can't live authentically authentically without being in the and. Because and opens us up to different things and, contrast. And it's with contrast that we know what to choose. Reverend Suzette talked about elegant living and being able to choose and figuring out what we value or what we find meaningful to us and what will make our lives fulfilling and meaningful, right? Give us value and satisfaction. So authenticity is possible. It's not possible without embracing the and within us. Our minds like to categorize things into neatly labeled boxes like, I am right or she's right. Let's stretch our minds so we can be right and so can she. Embracing the and is like yoga for the brain. When we train ourselves to hold paradoxes by stretching ourselves out of the boxes of our minds, we stretch into new possibilities and adapt more quickly in a fast-changing world. And we are living in a fast-changing world. Everything is changing quickly. This moment, this time, we don't know what tomorrow brings, but it will bring something, right? But if we embrace the and, we open up more possibilities and see, even envision more things, better things than what we have in this moment. So the word that came to me was equanimity. If you can pronounce that right, equanimity. I sat down in front of the computer trying to pronounce the word equanimity. He kept telling me I was wrong. so equanimity is an interesting word, but I think it's a very useful word to know and to embody. Because what it teaches us is, it means, according to dictionary, mental calmness, composure, and evenness of temper, especially in a difficult situation. And it gave us an example. She accepted both the good and the bad with equanimity. I mean, to live life, we have to be in that balance. Otherwise, you're gonna go crazy. Right? If you're unable to hold that balance, how can you reason and think and be calm in order to take that next step? It says in Buddhism, equanimity refers to a state of mental balance and even-mindedness. It is one of the 4 Brahma viharas, which are considered the sublime or divine abodes of the mind. So it's talking about the mind now, and I feel that the mind is the central, well, not really, just one of the central places that we need to inhabit and kind of control, kind of understand, really understand the mind and come to a place where we live in that state of balance in the mind. How do I explain this? Okay. I wanted to talk about the situation that happened to me. I know throughout the whole month we had been talking about paradoxes, and I live the paradox. I have a very dear friend who I consider to be a friend, and I love her like a sister. And we were out and about, and she's constantly talking to me about the state of affairs in the world. And I listen patiently. I think I'm a good listener. I believe I'm a good listener. I never offer, any contrast. I never, contradict what she says. I just listen. Then we were out and about, and she just wanted to start again. I'm like, I just, out of the blues, blurted out, I'm not hearing it. I don't want to hear it. It took her aback. So for a moment, we separated. And then when we parted, I went home and I sat down with myself. But she came back at me again and said, you know, Sophia, because she's been sending me videos to watch. And when I open them, I feel they're negative and I just close them out. I'm like, I can't watch this. I really can't. And she's like, why don't you watch it? I really, you need to know these things. I'm like, no, I don't want to watch it. But she said, okay, watch this one. Watch this one. I said, okay. Because I've been asking Spirit, if you really need me to know this, if there's something I really need to do, need to know, reveal it to me so that I understand, what's going on. And so I said, okay, I'll watch this one. At first, I tried. It was negative. I closed it down. She said, Sophia, have you watched it? I said, no. She said, try it, please. I said, okay. I sat down and I finally watched it from beginning to end. 90% of it was negative. But there was one thing that stood out to me. And it was information that I had heard, but this time I saw it in a different way. And it made me begin to think about what was going on in the world. And I thought, maybe this is kind of like a balancing act that's happening. Where, because for so long we have lived in a world where there are stratas, where we have the first world, the second world, and the third world, and whatever other worlds we have. And people are agitating. People from different countries are agitating because it no longer suits the status quo, right? And things need to change. And I think that's what that agitation is all about. I think, what if this is really what's going on? And then I sat with myself and in my heart, and I'm like, what would I really want to be the outcome here? What would I want to see the world become, and how would I want to see the world be? And I realized that what I wanted, or the truth of what I want, is I want harmony for everyone. I want there to be understanding, and I want there to be peace, and I want there to be a place where people can sit down and hash out whatever differences they have without conflict. It is possible, and that's the highest outcome. And I'm like, this is what both of us want. And I asked her, what is it exactly you want? What do you want to see happen? And she said she wanted harmony too, and she wanted peace, and she wanted unity. And I'm like, that's what I want. And that's what we can agree on, right? And that's where we can land on harmony, peace, understanding, not just for ourselves, but for the world as well, right? Even though we have this opposing ideas or opinions about how things should unfold, we both want the highest ideal for humanity and for the world. And in order for us to get to this point, I feel that the practice of stillness is important. And one of those practices to to get to that place is meditation and quieting the mind. And I feel that dance is one of those ways I express and how I get to connect to my mind, because the mind and the body are connected one way or the other. And when I dance, I find that I'm able to quiet my mind, and I'm in a different place, and it also puts me in a different vibration, right? You are joyful when you're dancing, because you can't dance if you're sad. But you can start from sadness to joy, right? But that's a way of getting into a place where you can still the mind and quiet it. And Rumi said, in order to understand the dance, that's the dance of the world. What are we here for? What are we doing here? It's to get to a point of stillness, to find that place deep within that's quiet, where we can hear silence, and that silence speaks to us. That silence has a voice. And once we listen to that voice, it's very profound. It is deeply profound. So practice dance. So with equanimity, you can deal with situations with calm and reason while keeping the inner happiness. That's what Dalai Lama said. If you get to a place where you can still the mind, you're able to not only hear that inner voice, but you're able to, ideas float in. I know that's, sometimes when I'm, after a period where you've like maybe danced and you're just relaxing, sometimes some thoughts come in. I know those thoughts are not my thoughts. They're just like, oh my God, did I just think that? What? They're like thoughts that you yourself did not think, and you did not think that thought. It was something else that thought that thought. It was like a big God thoughts, right? Yes. You get to a place where you can now make choices that are meaningful, that are useful, not just to you, but to others around you too. That, those are the elegant choices that we need to make. The choices to find love, the choices to find happiness, the choices to find peace, the choice to find understanding in the midst of disagreements. Put yourself in the other person's position and see what they're seeing. Understand what they are seeing. And then, from a place of calm, decide what next to do. Right? That is my talk, in essence. And I'll yield to Candace.
Month we have been talking about paradoxes. Our lives are filled with paradoxes. We can either have chaos or peace, grief or joy, believe in X or believe in Y. Politics, you're on this party or that party. Paradoxes are what make our lives flow. So when we have choices between either or and both, let's take a look at those choices. If we go with the either or choice, it stops the flow. It doesn't allow any room for anything new, anything creative. It just simply gives you a choice between A or B, chaos or peace. How about we are a speck in the universe, and yet the whole universe is within us? Or we are like a drop of water in the ocean, and yet the entire ocean is within us. Those are paradoxes. And if we decide we're either or, we get stuck. We stop the flow, we get stuck. So let's get unstuck this morning. And let's go look at and both. So if we look at and both, and we look at chaos and peace, is it possible to have chaos or war and still have peace? I can acknowledge that there is chaos, that there is war in the world. And yet I can go within, look within myself and remember the truth of who I am, and remember that peace is at the very core of who I am. And so in the midst of this chaos, I can have my own peace. I can be at peace. And by being at peace within myself, I am giving others an example and telling them that they too can be at peace, and there's war. When I am grieving, if I go with either or, I can either grieve or have joy. But when I look at it with and both, I can have both. I can grieve the loss of someone I love. I can grieve deeply. And yet I can remember, and we can talk about the fun we had, the things we did, the pleasures we enjoyed. And so in the midst of that grief, I find joy, and I can have both of them. And that helps to create peace within myself. The world has, I don't know how many thousands of religions. Some of them have a whole pantheon of deities. And I can either look at that and go, oh no, that's, I believe there's only one God, that we can only have one God, or we can have all these gods. If I look at it, that it's and both, the religions that have a pantheon of gods, those gods represent different aspects of the divine. And when you really look deep into it, you discover that they're still talking about one source and one love. But they have all these gods describing the different aspects. And as one who believes in one God, there's only one life, there's one God, but this God has many, many aspects. And so here we are coming together again with the and finding peace. When you're in trouble, when I'm in trouble, it brings me down. I get depressed. It's easy to get depressed when there's trouble. So can I have trouble and still be optimistic? When I look at life and I see the trouble of my life, I can look at it and go, okay, now wait a minute. I know that God is all there is, that God is in, as, and through me, and in, as, and through everyone around me, everyone I work with, everyone I talk with. We are all one within the divine. So I know that God only wants the best. So I can be optimistic about the future, even though I have trouble right now and I feel depressed right now. I can still be optimistic because I know within me that I have God, and God will get me through the trouble. That love that I hold, that connection I hold with Spirit will get me through anything. Okay, so when we look at who we are, we see, okay, I am one person on a planet with billions of beings, billions of human beings. And this little planet is spinning around, and it spins around the sun, which is a star, just a little insignificant star in the universe that we call the Milky Way. And the Milky Way spins around other galaxies in the cosmos, and the cosmos is expanding. And so here I am, just this little tiny speck, and yet I am one with the universe, which means the whole universe is within me. One speck of water in the ocean, and yet, because that can be both, I can be that little tiny speck, and I can be the entire universe. I can be a drop of water, and I can be the entire ocean. That is the power of and allows for unlimited possibilities. Unlimited. It keeps us in the flow of life, the flow of creativity, the flow of existence. It opens up our minds and allows us to be creative. Somebody looked at pictures. You can take pictures. And you can also have sound that you can record. And if you have either or, you either have pictures or you have sound. And somebody said, hey, wait a minute, there's got to be a way that we can have pictures and sound. And with that creativity, that possibility, look what's happened. Not only do we have movies and things like YouTube, which allow me to be here on an island in the middle of the Caribbean, talking to you thousands of miles away. But it's given us Facebook, it's given us modern telephones where we can look at each other and talk to each other. It's given us Zoom and Skype and all of that because somebody used the power of and. They stepped into those possibilities. They opened their mind. Another way that we use the power of and is when we're cooking. I love to cook. And I'll read a recipe and I'll go, okay, that's good. And I try it out. And it says you can use this or this or this. But no, I'm going to take it and I'm going to use and I'm going to create something even bigger, even better. And see, this is the way God works. When we ask for something in our life, the universe says yes. God always says yes. And better, this God and better. I am so grateful for this God and better. So I thought we'd do a little fun exercise using our minds. So we have a choice. We can have either blue or yellow, one or the other, blue or yellow. So, okay, we have blue or yellow. You can think about what you can do with blue. Think about what you do with yellow. Yeah, with yellow, you can make sunshine blue. You can make the ocean. It's pretty limited there. But when we take the power of and we take blue and mix it with yellow, what happens? We get a third color. We get a third color that actually has over 300 shades. There are actually over 300 shades of green. And so by using the blue and the yellow, we can create something different. We can create something more. We can create something beautiful. And that's the way and works in our lives. We can either limit ourselves with either or we can take the and we can get creative and go on adventures and experience life and enjoy life. We were put here to enjoy life. So we can either stay at home or travel. We can either stay at home and do nothing, or we can get out into the world. We can travel, we can explore, we can see new countries, meet new people, have new adventures. That is the power of and. And so the next time somebody says to you, would you like a piece of apple pie or a scoop of ice cream? You can look at them and say, nah, I'll have a piece of apple pie and a scoop of ice cream and some caramel sauce. Thank you. And now I invite you to
That was good, wasn't that? Let's give him another round. That was great.